Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
So I feel the need to commit this one to voice recording straight away because I am sat outside the cinema and having just watched quite possibly one of the best horror films, psychological horror films that I've ever seen. And you're watching or listening to Cheap Shot Entertainment. This is quick shot reviews for Cheap Shot Entertainment. And I am your host, Luke, and you are the Cheap Shot Nation. So what film have I been to see tonight that made me commit this to voice recording straight away without thinking about waiting to commit this to a voice recording? Well, the answer is very simple. It is Cobweb, a film that I've been waiting to see for quite some time, and the trailers do it justice, and I have a lot to say about this one. It is quite good. It's a shame, based on when it's set, which I'll get to in the main part of the podcast, that it was released when it was released, because something like this probably should have been released more towards Halloween. And considering Halloween is, well, it's close to a Friday, you would have thought they might have released it then, but we'll get on to that in the main part of the video. And in the meantime, please join us on social media and click the like buttons, and do follow us on the podcasting software on Spotify and all of your favourite podcasting channels. Join me in the main part of the podcast. Cobweb is a 2023 psychological thriller, and it is a doozy of a film. It is only an hour and a half long, but that runtime again doesn't do this justice. It is filled from start to finish with great scares, psychological horror bits. You find bits that you wouldn't have necessarily come to the conclusion that would be included with a film of this nature. The way it's shot is a love letter to classic horror films. The lighting is wonderful for a horror film. The cinematography is fantastic, and the sound design is brilliant. We're not talking jump scares, we're talking genuine scares. There are some pretty standard by the book jump scares, but a lot of it is so psychological that you end up filling in the gaps, and that's what I really love about this film. Cobweb. An 8-year-old boy tries to investigate the mysterious knocking sounds that are coming from inside the walls of his bedroom and the house, unveiling a dark secret that his sinister parents have kept hidden from him. Yeah, there's a lot to uncover in this film. It's a shame because the scores, again, for me, don't do this justice. I really enjoyed this. I did hear a lot of sighing, a lot of chuffing during the duration of this film, but that is from people who want remakes and quick, sharp horrors that just use loud noises to scare you. And if that's what you want, then that is absolutely fine. Go and watch those kind of go and watch those kind of films. But Samuel Bowden here does a fantastic job at directing this film. You've got Lizzie Kaplan playing Carol, who's the mother. You've got Anthony Starr playing Mark, who is incredibly sinister during the whole of this film. Cleopatra Coleman playing Miss Divine, the teacher of Peter, who is the troubled 8-year-old played by Woody Norman. What a name that is. So they're your basic people in this film. You've also obviously got The Thing. And like I say, the reason that I really love this film is because it makes you fill in the gaps. You get this sense of foreboding throughout the whole of the film. The setting, the house, even where the house is based. One element that I did think was unnecessary, really, is to cause the trouble of Peter in the form of bullying, and that seems to be like a cookie cutter thing. You need some kind of reason for these things happening, and what you think is paranormal becomes I would say quite real, but obviously it's not, and it does fail towards the end with the creepiness, really, and it's a shame because all the way through it really does put on the best performance, but it doesn't quite stick the landing. That being said, this film is absolutely brilliant, and I would say if you're a horror fan, then I would go and absolutely recommend this film because it is fantastic. And like I say, it is a shame that so many people have not liked this film. Like I say, I heard huffing and chuffing, people saying it's absurd, but then I heard people actually audibly swearing in the cinema like they were really scared. It wasn't that scary, but the psychological elements and the bits in here which you wouldn't expect, and the foreshadowing of certain things. Obviously, as a horror veteran, I could see these things coming a mile away, but for some, I'm guessing they couldn't, and it was a pleasant surprise. It really, really was. I wasn't expecting what I saw, and yeah, I like that. You know, when you go into a film and you think you're going to get one thing and you get something completely different and you're pleasantly surprised. I was on the edge of my seat all the way through this film. I genuinely felt for Peter and what he was going through, and then you get the elements that you weren't expecting. Obviously, the parents, the adults, aren't going to believe that there's something in the walls. That is a pretty standard thing with these kind of horror movies. However, there's an added element here with the parents, which I'm not going to spoil. And the teacher is almost like a Miss Honey from Matilda, only it's obviously a lot more sinister what's going off in Peter's house. It is, like I say, it is a bit of a lazy conclusion at the end, and I really thought that it was going to stick the landing, and it didn't. That is literally the only thing that I can say. You've got a very strong child lead in this one. Does a fantastic job. Does Woody. And the adults around him do a good job as well. And this is a testament to how good this film is, because At first, I thought the parents were just acting ham and they were really putting it on. But then as the film went on, you realised why they were doing it the way they were doing, why they were acting like they were acting. And like I say, shame about the ending, but the rest of it was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, I think that is everything that I need to say about Cobweb. I can't go into too much detail with things, but there's a lot to love about this. Like I say, from the cinematography, the sound design, the camera angles, the panning shots, the tracking shots. You'll see a lot of things that are love letters to horror movies, including all the way back to Nosferatu, which I believe we are getting another film of, by the way, a remake 100 years later. But yes, it is just a really good film, and I would go as far as to put this on my Halloween watch list every year, along with Trick or Treat and Halloween. And even the house reminds me of Haddonfield. The setting is Haldenfield. I mean, you can't get any more on the nose than that. And then you've got a pumpkin on the porch and all this kind of stuff. And it's just, yeah, there's a love letter to horror here, and I really like it. So that is my thoughts on Cobweb. Go and see it, make up your own mind as usual. If you've got any comments, if you've seen Cobweb and you want to give us a shout out, then please do. Join us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and, well, it's not Twitter anymore, it's X. Like I'm expecting some kind of rapper to pop up or something. But yeah, X is now Twitter, or Twitter is now X. So you can get in contact with us on all those channels. Let us know what you thought of Cobweb, and I will see you next time, film fans. Goodbye.